Rock stars, songwriters, the sidemen and women, music producers, and more join Dayna Steele each week to talk about the rock business. Slide into the booth and join the conversation. This is Dayna's Diner on Houston Radio Platinum.
One of my favorite stories going, back in the day was when we would hang out at Cardi's. Cardi's was just this incredible club that, sticky floors and everything, but, just the best music. U2 came there at the beginning. The Police, I remember, were traveling together in one station wagon. It was at the corner of Westheimer and Fountain View, and it was just the place to see everybody in the 80s. And this incredible band, one of my favorite bands still to this day, Zebra, played New Year's Eve. And I will never forget that at midnight, I took off my shoes and the band drank champagne out of my high heels. Ew, that is nasty, Felix Hannemann of Zebra.
Not when you're like 30 years old and you don't care.
I will always remember that. We had so much fun that evening. And then, fast forward, 25, probably almost 30 years later, I'm getting ready to go on stage to give a speech in, I think, Orlando. It's one of those, 10,000 people in the audience things. And the guy that's getting ready to introduce me, it's a big business speech and it's a big customer service conference, people all over the world. And the guy that's introducing me with the company leans over and goes, "I think you know my dad." And I was like,
"Wow,
what?" And he goes, "Yeah, something about he drank champagne out of your shoes." I'm like, "Oh my God, your dad is in Zebra?" And I can't remember. I think it's the drummer's son.
Jeremy, yes.
Maybe. I don't remember, but he was like, "Yeah, my dad said he drank." I mean, this is a grown businessman standing there with me, and I'm getting ready to go on stage and tell people how to be successful. And I must look like a deer caught in headlights. My dad says he drank champagne out of your shoe, and there's only one band that ever drank champagne out of my shoes. Hey, that's Felix, crazy. How are you?
I'm good. I'm fantastic, baby. How are you?
I'm good. Felix and I actually reconnected on Twitter, now known as X. So we kind of keep in touch over there. And Felix helps me swat down the trolls every once in a while over there. But I just, I love following you. I'm still trying to figure out how to get you. I need more performances when I'm in Houston from you. I need more performances in Palm Springs when I'm in residence here. Where are you and where are you going and what are you doing? I think you're even doing a Mardi Gras kind of thing that's going to be, I think it's tomorrow. So tell me about that.
Well, that's actually our first outdoor show in Metairie for a live free concert. It's pretty wild. We were invited for this year. It's tomorrow. It's Friday. And we're doing Family Gras, which is in Metairie. It's not in downtown New Orleans. Metairie is like a suburb of New Orleans. So, and I'm excited about it because, they've had a number of major artists. Taylor Swift's been there, Cheap Trick. You name it. A lot of people have been there and played that. And funny enough, being from there, we have never played it before, which is really wild. It took 49 years to get there.
That is great. So what have you been doing the last 30 years? You guys are still touring. You're still making music. Tell me what's going on.
Well, because this is our 49th year, last year, 2023, was the 40th anniversary of the first record, as you know, because you helped make
No, it was not that long ago. It was not. Shut up.
40 years ago.
And I'm still 32. It's amazing how that works.
And you broke us at KLOL in Houston and put us in heavy rotation and slayed it for us. But that was great. We toured with Loverboy. We toured with Cheap Trick. We toured with ZZ Top, REO Speedwagon, Sammy Hagar. And we did some stuff with Journey and stuff like that. And since then, after that, we came out with the second record. We toured that for a while, did the third record, toured that for a while. And then we all kind of laid low for a while. It was a long time. We put out a live record in 1990. and that was okay. That was pretty cool. And then we did a fourth record in 2003, I think it was. And now we are celebrating like I said, last year we were celebrating the 40th anniversary of the record. We've been out all over the country. We were even in your neighborhood, but you were in Europe, I think, at the time.
Right, doing that 1 year, lost
Right,
weekend around the
doing
world.
your round the world trip, which we stayed in touch with. For that was fun because I was always Where's Waldo with Dayna. And and I'm coming back your way. I'm going to be doing the Ranch House, which is in San Luis Obispo, I think it is, and that's not too far from Palm Springs, if I understand. I think you guys are south of San Diego.
We are. It's like a triangle. If you did LA, if everybody goes, well, I'm going to go to Palm Springs, but nobody knows where it is. It's
Yeah, I
like
don't know where it is.
LA. If you do LA and San Diego, and then you drew a triangle, we're kind of at the tip of the triangle out in the desert.
I got you. So we'll be there. I think on that schedule I sent you. I don't think I don't
Yeah,
have
I'm looking at it right
the
now.
date in front of me.
I gotta find it there. There it is on October the 3rd.
Yes,
You're gonna have to remind me about that one, but
of course I will.
that's that is so far away.
Well, I mean, you got to book in advance, right? You know
Yeah,
that.
with me, I guess, you gotta get on the schedule so I
Well,
can get
you
down
could
there
be
and see you.
anywhere. You could be in Greece by that time.
Who are some of your favorite bands when you look back? That maybe you hear a song come on the radio and you think, oh, that band was fun to tour with.
Well, it was really all of those bands pretty much that I just mentioned because they were all over the radio. Journey, Cheap Trick, REO Speedwagon, and we toured with REO for a while with Survivor. And so all of those songs were so in heavy rotation at the time. All of that stuff reminds me of when the record first came out, and that was very exciting. In fact, I was on a vacation with my agent, and we were up in the Smoky Mountains. And we really didn't have much because back then there was no internet radio or anything, no cell phones. So we were up in the mountains in Smoky Mountains, probably up in Gatlinburg somewhere. And so, we made phone calls to friends and stuff, tell them where we were. And they go, well, do you know what's happening? I said, what do you mean what's happening? He goes, well, the record's out and it's like killing it. And, everybody's heavy rotation, this, heavy rotation, that. And I'm up in the mountains with no internet because there's no such thing. And, and I'm finding out that the record is all over the place by that time, so that was pretty fun.
Aren't we happy there were no cell phones back then?
Yeah, I mean, the funny thing about it was that I don't even know how everybody stayed in touch with you. You had to find a payphone if you weren't home.
If you wanted to. I've been begging recently for old pictures, and one of the things I asked for is, come on, somebody has to have had a camera, an Instamatic, something that night on New Year's Eve when you were drinking the champagne out of my shoes. One of these days, that picture,
It's going to show.
somebody had to be taking pictures. I've been begging recently for, if you've got pictures, please send them. There's a lot I want to see. There's probably a lot I don't want to see.
Well, I think that audience was wasted by the time that clock ticked up to New Year's.
What do you attribute your longevity to? I mean, you and I have friends that have just, they're selling real estate now. They stopped playing, music. They're IT guys. They're whatever. They're not playing music. They're not touring anymore. They're not doing what it is they love. And you seem to still love it and you're still doing it. What do you attribute that to?
I only attribute it to a few things, and I attribute it seriously to our following. I think we were blessed with the fact that, we started out in New Orleans. We played all out the whole Gulf Coast. We played Texas, we played New Orleans, and we played Louisiana, all up and down Louisiana. We played Mississippi, we played Mobile, Alabama, we played in Tallahassee, Florida, and then we moved up to New York. And then, the whole tri-state area became a home for us. And so before we were ever signed, we were together for 8 years. So we had a whole following that had nothing to do with the record. And, so once the record came out, that's really what helped make it the fastest debut record in the history of Atlantic Records, which is crazy. And so, once, some of that stuff where the record and the radio stops playing you and stuff like that, it didn't really do that for us because, we still had a following. We could still go down to those places or still play in New York, and we could still draw people, which, still kept money in our pockets and, still kept us viable.
It's one of the things I love about social media is reconnecting with you, reconnecting with people like you,
Yeah.
Watching the fan base grow, watching new fans discover, Tell Me What You Want, who's behind the door. What is that song? I played Tell Me What You Want the other day on Houston Radio Platinum, and where I'm back on the air, which is so much fun. And people were like, posting, who is that? So I know they're younger, listeners who are now discovering Zebra. It's just timeless music. It still sounds so good. Who's behind the door also?
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think that's another thing, when we were playing before the record came out, we were playing all that music, we were sneaking them in because, we were doing a lot of covers. We were doing ZZ Top, we were doing Led Zeppelin, Moody Blues, all that kind of stuff. And we would sneak in our all of our original stuff. And so we were playing a lot of things called CYOs down south, Catholic youth organizations, and we would play all of these gyms. And all of these kids were under 18. It was the only place that they could go and see the band. And by the time they grew up to be 21 and the record came out, well, they were all coming either to the clubs or to the venues to see the band. So it was like, it was like seeding a market that, it was, obviously wasn't intentional, but, it was really something that grew up. I still know a young lady that was coming to see us at CYO, St. Christopher CYO, who was 14 at the time, who still comes and sees the band to this day.
That's fantastic. And I bet you no one was drinking champagne out of anyone's shoes, though.
Not at a CYO.
Not at a CYO. Well, our time is up. How can people send you money? Is there a new album?
Yes.
Tell people, how can people find you and how can people buy your music?
Okay, well, they can find us at thedoor.com. That's our website, THEDOORS, who's behind the door.com. And we are working on a reissue of the first record, and we're working on new music. And we're also been filming this past year, and we'll be filming this year to put a new documentary. We would put a documentary out around the same time that we had done the fourth record. And that's over obviously 20 years ago. So we're putting out a whole new documentary together, because obviously next year will be 50 years. So we're hoping to have all of that stuff tied up, the new release and the new record, and maybe even some live stuff. We used to do, we've done the orchestra stuff. We've done Zebra with the orchestras in Louisiana.
Ooh, that would be very cool to see you with an orchestra doing that.
Yeah. And we're doing
another
one
great.
in Lafayette. And we also did another one that we did in Louisiana with a bunch of horn guys. They called themselves the Lip Busters, which was kind of funny, because on your horns, your lip gets all beat up. But what we did is they wrote charts for some of the songs that would go well with horns and stuff like that. So we have a lot of recorded stuff live, and we have some new music and old music and music that's never seen the light of day on some of the recordings that we had done over the years. And we're going to try to compile all of that stuff, and hopefully we can put it together faster than we can make this Zoom meeting work.
Yeah, I wish I had saved. It took us a while to get. Felix is a hell of a musician, but don't ever hire him to do your IT. Oh my God, trying to explain to him how to turn his Zoom on, but horrible. We did it. Your stage manager got on the other line and got it done. There's there is really a market for these documentaries. There's a documentary called Runaway Radio: The Rise and Fall of KLOL that will start streaming the end of February. So you need to see that. Wow. There's awesome. A great one I just watched called, it's a 3-part series on Paramount Plus called I Want to Rock, the 80s Metal Dream. You would love it. There's a scene where Kip Winger walks into a radio station, and that's the only way I know about it because somebody took a screenshot and said, "Is that you?" And it was me when Kip was coming in to do an interview. So I think people would love to see your story because it is just a fantastic story. I will put some links to your social media and thedoor.com where people can find you. And you look great. You still rock,
Thank
Felix
you.
Hannemann.
So do you. So do you.
You've been listening to Dayna's Diner, a weekly conversation with the men and women who created your favorite classic hits. Dayna's Diner is produced by Dayna Steele and Houston Radio Platinum.